Did you know that UK is planning to reduce the net immigration that it's going to have, and it does not only impact students but it impacts all of the people who are planning to come on the skilled worker visa and all of the people right now who are on a worker visa or even the health and care worker visa. So if you are somebody who's planning to come to the UK in the next year or are already in the UK, then this video is right here for you, because in today's video I will be discussing exactly what is going on in the UK, what are some of the proposed changes, and who is it exactly going to impact. But before I start, let me introduce myself. So my name is Nikita and I make videos on YouTube for all of the healthcare professionals all over the world who want to come and live in the UK. So I help you not only with your registration process but also with making good job applications and clearing those interviews. So if you have questions about any of this, do not forget to connect with me, and you can do this through my website, but I also have a very engaging Instagram page where I post daily content. So do not forget to connect with me there, and my handle is Physiotherapy in UK. So let's come back to the topic at hand. What exactly is happening in the UK right now? So as you can see on your screens right there, it says that the Migration Observatory in the UK found that the net migration figure was up by nearly 7,45,000, but estimates that it fell to over 6,70,000 in the most recent figure. And as you can see, the date on that right there, it's the 23rd of November, so it's not far ago, it was just last week. So from this report that was recently released, one of the biggest things for you to take away is that there has been a very significant rise in the number of people migrating in the UK, and this is a staggering number of nearly 7,45,000 people in the year 2022. Now, this is obviously something that UK did not expect, and it didn't fall in line with its long-term immigration plans following the Brexit. However, let me summarize what exactly has been happening in this overall immigration issue. So out of the whole sort of immigrant population, they've realized that the biggest group of people migrating to the UK is obviously students. Now, this does not surprise anyone, and they found that all of the people sort of migrating into the UK from a non-EU background were the students primarily. The two major countries that most of the students are coming from in the UK right now is Nigeria and India, and obviously they were concerned about this a few months ago as well. Second thing of note that you need to remember is that they also found that the number of work visas being issued was quite high and significant to people from the NHS background and the social care background. Now, they also found that out of all of these people coming into the UK, majority of them were again from a non-EU background, and these people were mainly coming in to fill chronic staff shortages within the medical field and within the social care field. ONS, which is the Office of National Statistics for the UK, identified that obviously once UK left the EU, it found that more non-EU people, that is more people from other countries who are non from the EU, are migrating into the UK generally. But it also found that as compared to 2021-22, from 2022 to July 2023, there has been a downward trend in this net migration. So they found that the number of people arriving in the UK is tending to drop, and the number of people leaving the UK might actually be on the rise, trying to sort of balance out that immigration over the last few months. However, the ONS is unsure at this point about whether this is a trend and this decline is going to gradually settle down, or if it's going to rise back up again. So because of this uncertainty, the UK government is now planning to take strict action against immigrant workers. I think just generally among the masses in the UK, a lot of people are now being really concerned. Like I would have showed you in one of my previous videos how people in the UK are concerned that because the migrating population is so high right now, that local people within the UK are not getting enough jobs, and that's sort of creating a lot of animosity. And the UK government is now making a decision to actively respond to these sort of questions and these concerns which are being placed by the UK citizens. If you think I am joking and this is just a clickbait topic where I'm saying that yes, the UK government is going to reduce migration, then do not believe me. Check this out right there, because this says that the Tory MPs are pressurizing Sunak to take urgent action on immigration, and they are actually calling for this action before Christmas to reduce immigration numbers. As you can see, they are really sort of pushing Rishi Sunak right now into a corner to try and reduce the net migration that is being seen in the UK. Now, as you can see on your screens, in another post out there on The Guardian, which is one of the biggest newspapers in the UK. It says that Rishi Sunak has now said that net migration must fall, but declines to say which measures he backs as it has happened. So he obviously has now identified that the net migration needs to reduce, but there hasn't been any confirmation about what proposals are going to be expected in the next coming few months. And like I said, these are proposals that are being issued or that are being spoken about in the UK. However, they haven't reached a decision yet on what will be accepted and what will be rejected at this point out. So as you can see right there in the continuation of that article, it just says that Rishi Sunak has said that it is very clear that the levels of migration are too high at the minute and they've got to come down to more sustainable levels. It is good to see that the ONS yesterday did say that the levels of immigration are now slowing down, and in their words, it is a welcome step, but we've got to do more. He also goes on to say that he decided to clamp down on the number of dependents students can bring when they are coming here. And as you can see, this was one of the actions that were proposed earlier this year. And considering this, from Jan 24 on, students are not allowed to get their dependents along with them. However, this is only one of the first steps that the UK government is taking in its long list of steps that follow on. With this proposal, another sort of proposal that came out last week was that the MAC, that was the Migratory Advisory Committee, suggested a 6-point plan to help to curb the immigration levels. And one of the biggest sort of takeaways from that plan was the proposal that says they wanted to completely stop or abolish the shortage occupation list. There are many healthcare professions that fall on the shortage occupation list, not only including doctors, but physios, nurses, occupational therapists, speech and language therapists, and so many others. And to be fair, I think a lot of healthcare professionals have taken the advantage of this shortage occupation list, because what's really important is that the threshold for the income on shortage occupation list is about 20% lesser as compared to the threshold that a regular skilled worker needs to be meeting in order to make their visa applications. But what this also has meant that there might be slight exploitation when it comes to people being on the shortage occupation list, because obviously UK employers are hiring these individuals for a market rate that is going slightly lesser as compared to other occupations generally. Now that the UK government has banned the sort of dependence of students to join them in the UK, what is the next proposed plan? So as you can see on your screen right there, the next proposed plan is that the Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick has put forward a 5-point plan that includes proposals to ban foreign social care workers from bringing their dependents in the UK. Now obviously this is going to meet a bit of resistance because it doesn't really fall in line with some of the other rules and regulations that the UK government has, but we're just going to have to take all of this with a pinch of salt and see what the UK government finally agrees on. But as you can go on to see that it also says that it hopes to place a cap on the total number of visas for the NHS and the social care workers. So what does this mean, guys? So at the moment, because a lot of healthcare professionals are on the shortage occupation list, a lot of employers are actually looking to recruit healthcare professionals into the NHS. But what they are proposing is that they want to set a cap, or they want to set a sort of higher number beyond which the UK will not be allowed to take on more immigrant doctors, nurses, physios, or any other professional who plans to work in the NHS. However, remember, this is still at a proposal stage and it hasn't been finalized yet. The good news is that obviously, as you can see on your screens right there, it says that the call to curb the number of foreign workers in the NHS and the social care is likely to be met by resistance with healthcare officials amid chronic staff shortages across the health and care sector. So obviously, people do realize that if there weren't foreign care workers who are healthcare workers who are sort of coming in and filling up these roles, the vacancies would be unmet, and obviously that would place a very high demand on healthcare systems in the NHS right now. So they obviously realize that there is a sort of positive impact that is being brought by healthcare workers who are coming from other countries in the UK. However, obviously the UK government might have other plans related to this. So now let me just talk about what these proposals mean for you and me. So firstly, let's talk about people who are already present in the UK on existing visas. So say for example, I'm on the UK on a health and care worker visa. What does this mean for me? For me personally, there hasn't been anything out there that says you are going to be thrown out of your job or you're going to sort of be revoked. Your visa is going to be revoked. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this doesn't impact us. However, if I were to renew my visa in the next year and the year after, and these sort of rules and legislations would come into place, it might create a bit of difficulty and some challenges for me to renew or extend my visa. So that is one of the likelihoods I see on how it's potentially going to impact people who are already in the UK on their health and care worker visa or on their skilled worker visa. Now, coming down to the potential impact it might have on people who are actually planning to come into the UK in 2024 or in 2025. Just from all of the conversations I've been having with you guys on Instagram, and like I said, if you haven't joined me on Instagram yet, now's your turn to do so, because you can drop me a DM right there. But just from all of the conversations I've been having with people, a lot of you are really scared right now and are nervous because you all are in the process, maybe doing your HCPC, maybe collecting some of your documents, maybe applying for jobs and not getting favorable responses. And I genuinely sympathize with all of you. I completely understand the situation you're in, and also right now when the UK government is making these sort of proposals, we don't really know what it is going to accept at this stage right now. But what I would say though is the government has not made a definitive plan. All of these are proposals, and these proposals might get accepted or might get rejected. And out of the fear that it might get accepted, you might miss a golden opportunity right now to sneak your foot in through the door and come into the UK. So if you are somebody who genuinely wants to come into the UK, not because your neighbor is coming to the UK or your classmate has come already, but because you want to make your dream a reality, I would say that this is the time for you to do so. Try your level best if this is what you want for yourself, to come into the UK and make a life here and make a living. Also, let me just remind you that people in the UK, all of the people that I've met from my personal experience, are quite positive, and personally they don't mind people who are living in the UK legally and who are sort of paying their taxes and going about their lives the way they are. So if this is something again that concerns you, saying obviously the UK government and the UK people are sort of against us as immigrants, I don't think that perception that is being put out by media right now is entirely true. So I would say to look beyond that, see all of the people who are in the UK and spreading a good word or giving you examples of their positive experiences. But like I said, guys, today's video was just to give you an understanding of what the visa updates might potentially look. If you do have any follow-up questions, let me know them in the comment section below and I will try to get back to you. But take care, guys. Bye.